What is going on, people? Welcome to On a Level Podcast episode 21. We're nailing down these episode numbers, and today we've got the Don himself, Fraksha. How you doing, bro?
I'm very good, mate. Not too bad, not too bad. Just getting this Skype thing all set up.
Getting it all sorted. Don't worry, one day, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can set up something.
This is my very first Skype video call, I think. So.
Oh, is it? First time for everything?
Yeah.
First time for everything. Yeah, man. So, fucking hell, there's a lot that we could chat about. There's a lot to go over, and I don't want to ask too many generic things that you've probably been asked a million times, but I do want to touch base with a couple things.
Yeah, whatever, bro.
And so, yeah, first off, what's been going on recently? What have you been up to recent times?
Recently, just had the tour, the Apocalypse tour.
Yep.
So that was took up most of July and August. Well, started June, all of July, and a little bit of August. So yeah, that was a big thing, man. That was a lot of fun. And then following that, just been kind of taking it easy. Done a couple of bits here and there. But not really going too hard. Got a big show this Friday night with Footsie and Jamaica and Suspiro.
Okay.
So looking forward to that one. Yeah.
That there's some big names there. I'm sure some of the Australian audience may not know those names, but if you're from the UK or if you even follow the UK scene, you know that Sir Spy.
Yeah, well, everyone knows.
Yeah,
it's got to know Spyro, whether they know his name or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they got to know his production through Stormzy.
Yeah. Once you hear that tag, Sounds of the Sir, you probably heard something of his. You've worked with a good few amount of producers over the years, am I right? Like from the UK, in terms of UK producers, whether it's been performing at the same shows or whether they've produced for you. You've had done
for a long time. I was kind of the host guy or something. You know what I mean? For a lot of dubstep events that happen. So any really big dubstep name has come over. I've generally played with a lot of the brand DJs as well. So done a lot. Not recorded with so many, but done a lot of shows and that, but hopefully we'll get Spyro in the studio this weekend.
Yeah, right, that would be quality. I mean, he recently dropped the track with Stormzy. Sounds of the Skeng, and I feel like that was a massive shout out for him, because that will get him a lot of recognition from especially more of a mainstream audience as well. So I'm glad that track was so focused around his tag as well. I feel like that was massive.
Sick video.
Oh yeah, quality video. Am I right in saying that you've performed at a show as well with Stormzy? Was you like a support act for him or anything like that? I read that somewhere at some point.
Yeah, Stormzy's first tour. I suppose, I don't know when it was, a few years ago now. I suppose round about when Know Me From came out, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, he did a warehouse party here in London, in Melbourne. And Smash Brothers, we did support on that one. Yeah, nice. It was mad, a crazy show, because it wasn't even like a proper venue. It was just like a warehouse. So
okay.
It was nuts.
Because I was reading somewhere and there was like a list of names like Wiley, Skepta, The Game, Raekwon, Ice Cube. Like there was just a list, and I was just like, shit. Are they all true? Like, was you supporting them?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So how did they come about? Did people just kind of think like, all right, who's championing grime over there? Who's doing bits over in Australia? Who can we get on? Or
well, so, like the hip hop stuff, I suppose. Raekwon and stuff. It was just promoters hit us up. Like we were making a noise at the time, I suppose. So with the grime stuff, that was usually because most of the grime stuff that's happened in Melbourne, we've been involved with from rather than just been booking it. We might have been putting other shows on ourselves, or like the Skepta show, like we put that show on ourselves.
Right.
So you know what I mean. And so usually when grime people come over here, we'll be asked to be involved if it's in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So,
it's been a lot, because I'm seeing more and more people doing tours in Australia as well. I mean, talking from the perspective of the UK scene, I'm seeing a lot of the Midlands boys trying to build a fan base out there. Working with artists like Wombat and Chillin'. I think Eyes dropped a track a couple days ago with featuring them. I ain't checked it out yet, but I know that them lot are kind of getting close and starting to collab together. So
we got me and Alex have got one with Eyes coming soon as well, with Z Dot on production. So I think basically he's doing Z-Dot's doing and Eyes have done an EP with Australian artists, so you'll start seeing a few more tunes come out over the next few weeks, I think.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick to see. Because there's been a couple more like kind of UK artists to UK collabs and features. You had the one with Yizzy featuring Shadow and Nerve.
Yeah,
that was a dope track.
That one.
And there's been more and more of them popping up, man. There's more and more of them popping up, and I think it's good. It's interesting to see the relationship Australia and the UK have right now, and it's just continuing to grow.
Yeah, I think they have an affinity more so than with Americans, on both sides. So I think we, because Australians very much so. A lot of there's a lot of English heritage, you know what I mean. So it's a natural connection, I think,
Yeah.
And now we're both countries that are doing essentially, American music, even though we're doing grime, we're doing rap, you know what I mean. And so we both had to deal with that kind of same shit,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I was talking about this not too long ago about how when UK artists, especially rappers, when they first started out, like let's say 10, 15 years ago, even down to 5 years ago, I'm still hearing people rapping in American accents, even though you're from London, Birmingham, Manchester, wherever it may be. So, it took the UK a while to get out of that. And I still feel like there's Aussies, there's still Aussies that are sounding American. And I guess it's when you grow up listening to American hip hop, of course, but it's only recently starting to become more and more.
There's no excuse for it in 2019, though.
No, I agree. I agree.
We've all got the internet. We can't say that we weren't aware. So we can't say we weren't aware, of local hip hop or people doing it in our own accents. You know what I mean? It's just a weird thing. Like if you want to do it, but it's just a weird thing.
Well, it's interesting because I have people DMing me like, "Oh, you've reacted to so and so, and it was only a year ago they were still sounding American. Now that so and so is blown up, and now that this is popular, now they're spitting in Australian accents." And so,
well,
I think
at least they are. What would you?
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, shit. What more do you want them to do? They can't change what they did before. But I mean, I do see.
But at the end of the day, like that person didn't like them then. They don't like them now. What does it matter? Like, what I mean? Who cares? Don't worry about it. Like, you weren't gonna like them ever anyway. So.
Yeah. So I mean, because you grown up in London, right?
Slough.
Okay, so just outskirts. So, and then you moved over to Australia and started to get grime going here. So, do you consider yourself the pioneer of grime in Australia, or would you say it's a little bit more of a group of people around you?
It's a group of people. It's definitely a group of people.
So, who would you name? Who would you say started?
I've organised a lot of things, and so that's why I might get that term, But there's, from the outset, there's everyone in Smash Brothers, Diane, Murky, Scotty, there's people like Affix, DJ Affix, 82.3, Arctic, Alaska, Camo, a lot of DJs who are pioneering it, Juslo in Sydney, and then there was in Sydney you got MCs like That's Them, Sam and Nebs, Swami G, Rappaport, so. There's a lot of people who were doing stuff, who were doing stuff 10 years ago. We were all doing grime, and they might not be doing stuff now, and it's kind of, some of the younger kids might not know some of those names, So a lot of those names that I've said before, go and check them out. There's, especially That's Them over in Sydney, they were killing it. Like, I don't know whether you've heard those guys, but
Yeah.
They were like the Sydney guys while we were doing it in Melbourne,
Yeah, so you're telling me that it's more of a movement than anything. It wasn't solely one person. It wasn't just yourself. It was a group of people. It can never be one
person. It can't be one person. Like I might have G'd some stuff up. But it needed everyone to come together.
Yeah.
It's not going to be. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a 50-50 with just me on stage. You know what I mean? And I never wanted that. Well, like what our dream was, was to have that Eskimo dance vibe where you have 20 people on stage, and so, like, I remember the first time we ever had a actual grime party, and we had 3-4 MCs behind the decks, and like we were gassed. We were like, fuck, it's crazy in Australia. Like me, I remember turning around to Dime and be like, this is mad. Like we're playing grime. Like we're spitting bars. Like so that's it needed everyone. And it needed you know, that new injection of younger blood, you know, a couple of years ago to come through, you know, and that kind of took it fucking, you know, well, you've seen what's happened, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've had a massive influx in terms of the quality that certain MCs have brought to Grime. I mean, with the likes of Alex Jones, with the likes of Shadows and Mitchos, and, you know, there's so many artists that you can name. Would you consider them a kind of the second generation of Australian Grime, or would you still consider that part of the first?
Yeah, it would definitely be a second. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's a new wave. It's its own thing. You know what I mean. There, you know, it's like there's a big age difference. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So you know, there would have been even people in you know, probably in between that. Maybe I can't think that.
Yeah. There's always going to be people that are the in betweens, but you know, when you kind of you know, separate the generations, like if you use American hip hop, for example, there's a generation difference between like the Tupacs and Biggies, and then maybe going into like, you know, the Kanye's, Jay-Z's, 50 Cents, and then, you know, going into the J. Cole's, Kendrick's, you know, you can kind of do it, even though they kind of all intertwine with each other, you kind of landmark it based on different artists. So they're in a second generation, so to speak. And do you see a difference between Australian Grime and UK Grime, or do you still think they're quite similar to each other?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. You know, I think we don't have that garage background here. We don't, you know, so it comes more from a rap direction, you know. So, you know, but I think the new generation of MCs coming through are like, for the first time, a lot of them are coming through and they've only listened to Grime, so they haven't got that rap influence, which is good. So, you know, so I have a big rap influence, you know what I mean? Right, you know, so you know what I mean. So
yeah, it depends, you know, where you come from.
It'd be interesting to see. You know, you haven't got like a. I suppose you're starting to see more characters now, which is good. You know, that's what I'm trying to get at. You know, like rather than sort of like people, you got someone like Monk, you know, who for me is like Grime personified, you know.
Yeah, just like solely Grime.
Some people might listen and look at him and be like, "Fuck, he's just spazzing out." The fuck, you know. And I've seen some comments from people, they don't get Grime. You know, they're the people that don't understand why Discarder is one of the best MCs. Like, you know, like
I rate Discarder very highly.
You know, I might not listen to a whole album of him, but when it comes to Grime, he's going to be on the team. Yeah, like he's in the top 11. You know, like you know. He's gonna get a reload, you know.
It's interesting that you say that, because some of my favorite Grime MCs, I don't necessarily listen to their studio mixtape, EP, album work, but you hear them on a Rinse FM set, and it's amazing.
There hasn't been many good Grime albums, I don't think. Like,
yeah, I mean, in terms of purely Grime, I mean, as much as people love to say like Dizzy Rascal's Boy in the Corner, and of course it's a legendary moment, it's a landmark, you know. But for me, I'd rather hear Dizzy spit on pirate radio. Like, that's what I prefer.
Same. I don't really listen. You know, I don't really listen to tracks. I'd rather listen to sets.
Yeah. I'm the same. You know? Nothing wrong with the tracks and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, that's how people learn the bars for when they go on the sets and whatnot. But I feel like there's certain Grime artists that are better in Grime, studio, and there's certain Grime artists, the real Grime artists, that are just, their element comes out the most when they are on a set or a cypher or radio.
And that's the essence of it, you know. Like, for me. You know, and that's what's the difference, a big difference between hip hop and Grime. You know, don't get that kind of that radio or set vibe. You know.
Yeah, so. I feel like Grime is a very pure form of spitting, because when you're in that environment, when you're in a crowded room, it's 200 degrees in there, you've got one mic that you've got to hold at an awkward angle just so you can get the audio to come through, and you've got everyone surrounding you, and you've just got 16 bars to prove yourself. I feel like that is the purest form of someone showing whether they're really about it and really love this shit, or whether they don't, you know. And I'm sure that plenty of people get nervous. I'm sure that plenty of people crumble. I know that's a natural feeling, but you know, it really separates the people who can really do this. And you know,
it really does.
When you talk about from a UK perspective, especially when you look at some of the absolute pioneers and legends in the scene, they've all been there. Practice hours, pirate radio, you know, they've gone through their hours of spitting on, you know, spitting on.
Yeah, man, like it's you can really tell, like it really shows shows, you know, levels. Like when, you know, some people think they can just go from hip hop to grime because it's just, you know, a buzz or whatever, you know, and they're lost on a set. They don't really know what's going on, you know. I've seen it happen, you know. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's one thing with grime. I mean, writing your bars is one thing, but I think you got to spend as much, if not more, time practicing your bars. Different instrumentals, learning how to catch that drop, learning what bars to use,
it's one of the main
and when,
things I say to people.
There is such an art to it.
Yeah, these are, you know, youngers like hit me up and ask me for tips, and one of the, you know, they'll send me something and they're reading it off a pad. I'm like, learn it so you know it inside out robotically on a million different beats.
Yep.
So you're versatile and you can just drop it on anything, like so you know it, you know. And then once you know it, then you can add in, you know, you add in your different change of flows and tones and whatnot, you know. But you can't do that if you don't know it. You're just reciting it.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's a massive difference between you freshly writing something, and if I think we've all been there, any artist or anyone who's ever written music for that matter, when you write something and it's fresh, you're gassed, you want to get it out there, you want to show someone, you want to put it up. I understand, but if you're gonna, especially if you're gonna go and perform with things like that, I really would say take the extra week, 2 weeks, a month, however long you need as an individual to learn your bars inside and out. So if someone goes spit a bar right now, you can do that comfortably without having to read off of your phone, you know.
100%.
I feel like it's 100%. a massive difference in terms of just how it sounds, the confidence, how comfortable you are. There is a difference in how it sounds.
100%.
Yeah.
So in saying that, sometimes I like going to the studio and just writing a verse, and been doing it recently a lot, just going in for the first time and just writing to the beat there and then and doing it there and then. And sometimes it just works.
Oh, sometimes it works. But as you said, studio. You can go into studio and do that. You wouldn't necessarily do that if you were spitting in a cypher situation. You would go with bars that you are very, very comfortable with. But, I mean, nowadays, it's interesting to see how kind of the come-up is very different for artists now. You know, for me putting my music out, you know, I wouldn't be able to reach the Australian audience I have. You know, if I did this 10 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now as easily. So it's interesting to see the difference in how someone now from their bedroom can get their music out there to an international audience versus say what you and Scotty and Dime had to do, you know, back in the day. How different is that hustle? How different is that process of trying to get your music to grow?
It's completely different, you know. It's just you know, a world apart, you know. It's the whole social media thing is, you know, is massive. It's been the biggest change, obviously, you know. And for kids growing up now, putting out music now, they've grown up with it, so they're like, you know, second nature to them. It's still, you know, a little clunky to us, you know. Dime doesn't even use it, you know what I mean? You know, so it's a totally different thing, man. Like, you know, you used to have to invest a bit more into your music, you know. So that's one thing, you know, having to press up music literally, and how you're going to sell it, where you're going to sell it, that sort of stuff, you know, working out all that stuff. Like now you can make a tune, stick it up straight away,
SoundCloud, YouTube, done.
Straight away, and that's wicked. That's cool, you know. Like it's just different, you know. It's sometimes I think, you know, would I prefer to have grown up in this era with the accessibility? But then I don't think I would, because it made me the MC I was, you know, and going through that, you know, and doing that, like that hard slog of open mics and shows, you know, done hundreds of shows, and and it's second. We have like almost like, you know, not robotic, but it's like a, you know, with each other, we know each other inside out, you know, and it's something that I would never swap, you know.
Yeah, no, I like the fact, and I massively respect the fact that you say it's different. You get a lot of older heads kind of almost hate on the newer generation, where you didn't have to do what we did, and it's not the same.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I've definitely been there as well. I've been, you know, you know, it's easy to get bitter and jaded, you know, and you know, when you put in so much work, and you know, I've never made a penny for music, really, you know what I mean, you know, but that's life. You know,
I mean, it's different.
And you can't get angry about that. You know, it's just like it is. It's just different.
It is what it is, and you can't change.
You know, and things will be different in 10 years. Things will be different in 20 years. You know what I mean? So, and at the end of the day, what I've achieved is been more than I ever set out to do. You know what I mean? So in that sense, could I have done what I've done by starting now? Maybe not. You know what I mean? So it's just a different time.
But it's a different kind of hustle. I mean, I think it caters for different people. I mean, there's positives and negatives to both. I mean, as you said, the positive nowadays is it's easier to get your music out there. But the negative within that is you have a lot more people that can casually do it without really putting in that effort and that hustle. And people can blow up over one or two freestyles, as opposed to you had to slog and it was a slower grind. The positive within that is it really built that adversity within you. It really built that resilience. Yeah. And if you got to somewhere, it's because you really wanted to. It's not, you can't just stumble into success with that kind of hustle.
And for me, skills are always important. And I think I think one thing is you can make it now without that. Like you don't, or you don't have to go through that slog of like performing live and open mics and shit, so you don't develop those skills necessarily, you know what I mean? So I see a lot of one thing I see is a lot of younger acts not having very good live shows or really needing to work on that, and that's one thing is missing. There's not much. People are kind of blowing up without ever doing anything live. They're just making tunes in their bedroom, and that's wicked, but for me, you got to hold it down live.
Oh, if you're gonna grow to become an artist, I feel like that's a massive thing. I mean, in the UK, I've seen it. I've seen people that have blown up within a year or so, and they're popping right now. I'm good. I'm glad they're earning their bag, and I'm glad that they're doing their thing and they're able to provide. But they go to like a Capital One Extra show and they perform, and it's just a little bit off, and you can see they're not as seasoned with it. You can tell they're nervous.
Is this that Ramon guy?
Yeah. And then you have, and then you have someone like Skepta walk on, who's been performing for years, that has, done all of that as alongside, and then looks so much more comfortable. And so, you can see.
Crazy. Like one thing I remember the first time I saw Footsie live, like when he came over here one time, and Footsie's one of those guys, he's always around. He's like, he's consistent, but he never he's never blown up, never really shined like D Double, I suppose, you know what I mean? But he's had that experience, and then I saw him live, and I was like amazed at fucking how solid that guy was, like holding it down, like just showing people up, like because he just had that experience and that fucking that he put that work in, and then you get some, and then I've seen some people come over from England, big names, and just the live show is just terrible. There's no effort in it, there's no pride in it.
I feel like you have to take pride in your performances. I feel like performing is as important as the music that you put out. I feel like putting on a memorable performance is a massive thing. Like when I went to see Chip at a show at Coco's in Camden, and he ended up bringing out like Stormzy, D Double, Gigs, Gets, and that show ended up being so memorable that I now rate them artists just that little bit more because of how well they shut that whole thing down. I remember Chip, I think it was around the time he put out his album League of My Own too, and so obviously he did all of his tracks off the album, and then they just went, fuck it, we're doing a 20-minute set. And they had Rude Kid on the decks, and literally they just did a 20-minute set all back to back. JME walked out, Lethal Bizzle walked out, and just lit the energy in that room. And so for every single artist that was on that stage, whether they got the wheel up or whether they just had everyone just going nuts, like massive respect. And I'll always remember that. I'll always capture that energy, and made me respect grime just that tiny bit more,
it's special. It's a special genre when it all works.
When it clicks together, it really does. And so like putting on that is a massive thing.
The right elements,
Yeah, no, it's a massive thing, and I feel my advice to any upcomers is do your open mics. Go to shows where you can perform for free. Don't worry about getting paid all the time. Like even if you can just go there just to get experience, like do so. Hit up these promoters, hit up these artists, and see if you can get on there. Just get used to just being on stage and holding a microphone and just interacting with a crowd. That's something that I've been doing a lot recently, just going to open mics and just things like that, because I feel like if and when I ever get to a stage where I am performing, or I feel like I don't want to go from just making music and collabing with artists to jumping on a stage with a few hundred people in front. I don't want there to be that massive jump, and so I want there to be sort of that grind of performing and getting used to that, and not getting so nervous.
Getting people on side, you know what I mean? Like you might perform with people who might not like you, you know what I mean? You know, and I've performed with people who didn't like me. I've performed, you know, done shows, people look at the crowd and they're like not into it. You know, you got to bring them around, you know.
But you got to build that adversity within yourself as well, so that when that happens, you don't crumble and freeze up and not know what to do. You know, you put in your all, you do the best that you possibly can, and I'm sure that over time you learn things, you learn little tricks and whatnot of what really does put on a good performance. So I say that's a big thing. I mean, with the newer generation that's coming up, like these really small artists that are coming out, I'm seeing plenty coming out of Perth. I'm seeing quite a few coming out of Melbourne. What things can they be doing as well as performing to just help them grow? Would you say continue to just network by performing at shows and things like that?
Just getting around and networking and meeting people in different states, you know. I think that's one of the best things you can do, you know, especially, you know, if you're over in Perth, you know what I mean, you're quite a distance away from a lot of things. They've got their own scene going on.
Yeah, they're kind of building.
But you know, if you can make it over to, you know, to Melbourne and Sydney, Brisbane, and, you know, connect with some people over there that, you know, I think that's the best advice to give to people, you know, just network and meet people, because you never know what's going to come out of your connections, you know.
No, definitely.
You know, so, you know, I've always meeting new people, you know, that you can do stuff with, you know, go over, you know, all the, you know, the younger dudes that I'm, you know, started working with in the last couple of years, you know what I mean? Just through networking and getting out there, you know.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's a massive thing. Yeah, it's a massive thing. I mean, last thing I'll touch on the whole difference between, you know, the older generation of how you had to, you know, grind and come up versus this newer generation. I feel I'm assuming I'm going to be right in saying this. It's a lot easier now to find events to perform at than it was before. Am I right in saying that, or is there?
I don't know about that. I feel that that's actually, it might not be correct.
Okay.
I feel there was a lot more events back in the day. Like,
okay.
I feel there was more when the scene was a little bit smaller. There was more of it felt like there was more of a community, and there was more events. There was regular events that happened in every state that you would know about. There isn't any regular events really that are happening. Like in Melbourne, for example, there's nothing. There used to be events. You know, you'd go there and everyone from the hip hop scene would be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's nothing like that anymore. Like I'm getting hit up by loads of kids like asking me to put them on like at 50/50 and stuff like this. There's no gigs happening. There's a lot of venues closing down. Grumpy's the venue with the 50 at for years. It just closed down. So I think like all the events that you're seeing happening, like the Apocalypse and things like this, and you know the Get Bodied and what, their events being put on by the artists themselves.
Okay,
you know, that's not. It's going to start happening. There's going to start as the scene's picking up. You're going to start getting outside promoters coming in.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing it a little bit, you know, and then there'll probably be a lot more gigs happening for more established artists. But there's not really that grassroots sort of scene, sort of show stuff happening. You know what I mean? Like unless you got to put it on yourself. You know.
Okay.
So Apocalypse Tour, we all came together and we did that ourselves. You know, we all put that together. You know, we all pretty much took a state each and did that. You know, the same Get Bodied one, you know, that was all, you know, done by them guys, you know.
Yeah. Okay, and so what's the reason behind that then? Is that just because the scene's growing and everyone's kind of doing their own thing, whereas before you had to stick together? I
don't know. Like, I think the scene's just so big now. There's just so many different splintered groups, but I don't know why there's not really many shows. It's a pretty being a promoter is a bit of a shit job. It's hard work at times, you know what I mean?
Imagine.
So it's not, unless you're, and especially when you're dealing with like the sort of people, you know, in the hip hop scene, you know, there's a lot of fucking egos, a lot of hard people to deal with, you know, so it's not, you know, I've been lucky with the 50/50 stuff. It's generally, it's just worked out well because everyone wanted to be involved and have fun. So, but it's, you know, like that tour we just done, the Apocalypse tour, it was mad fun, but it was hard work. You know, there was a lot involved. We're not promoters. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's another side of the game that you've had to learn.
Yeah. And we've learned a lot from it.
I can imagine.
I
can imagine. But I feel like it's good. I feel like that just helps you, you know, even just grow as a person, you know, just having to, you know, you've learned how to build up a community. You've learned how to obviously become an MC and an artist yourself. Then you're now learning how to, you know, promote and put on events. And so it's just more that just adds to your catalogue of stuff that you're putting together, man.
Yeah, hopefully some, you know, it'd be really good that, you know, the younger dudes come together and start putting on some, you know, some grime events in their cities, you know, take the template at 50-50, you know, what we did, and see, you know, you can make it work in your city, you know, and, you know, start bubbling scenes in each city, man. That's what I'm saying. Nah,
it'd be sick. And I hope to see more events like that, and I hope that people can come together just that little bit more often and start putting on more events. I'm gonna switch up a little bit. Something I'm starting to do recently on the podcast is quick fire. Don't know how I come up with that name, but that's how we're doing it. I'm gonna ask you 10 questions. You gotta answer them as quick as you can. You ready for this?
All right.
You ready for this? Ready? Yep. Skepta or D-double-E?
D-double.
Favorite track that you ever made?
New one that's coming out soon called Wicked Like That.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that one. Best pizza toppings to get?
Sucuk.
What's that?
It's like Turkish sausage. It's like
okay. Nike or Adidas trainers?
Nike.
Favorite film of all time?
The Wicker Man.
Okay. Fresh suit or a fresh tracksuit?
Tracksuit. Tea
or coffee?
Tea.
Name one UK artist that you're really fucking with right now.
RV.
Okay. North London is what colour?
Blue.
Blue? You're a Spurs fan. And finish
Are you
this.
Arsenal? Are you Arsenal?
I'm Arsenal. We'll get onto this in a moment. And finish this bar. Let me set it off and spray first.
I'm the fella that will never bring a lame verse.
There we go. Good man. Okay. Yeah. So you're a Spurs fan. Talk to me about supporting Spurs. How did that? Just ever since a kid, or?
Yeah. My dad's been fan. My dad was a fan, so he brought me up as a Spurs fan. Yeah, had all the kits when I was a kid and stuff. Went to my first game. Saw Gary Mabbott score in like the 80s.
Yeah.
Saw Gary Mabbott score against Man United. I went to a game at Christmas when I was back. It was against who did we beat? I think it was Leicester. I think it was like 4-0 at Christmas. I went to the game up there at Wembley when I was back.
Okay.
So yeah, just always been a fan. It's been a pretty shit life as a Spurs fan for most of it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I know there were some glory days before I was around, but
that's it. Well, I mean, recently, at least you're near Arsenal now. At least you're at Arsenal's level-ish kind of now. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, as much as you want to say,
you guys have lost a bit of shine, man.
We've lost a bit of shine, but it's all good because at the end of the day, Tottenham still haven't won anything, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, funny enough, you saying that. My dad was a Tottenham fan, and so baby pictures of me was in Tottenham kits, and from about 3 years old,
he must hate you.
I went, bun that. I'm becoming an Arsenal fan. He went into the next room and he cried. So I broke his heart, and I'm Arsenal ever since. So I made that choice off of my own back. That's how true of a fan I must be.
All right. Are you from North?
North, yeah. Literally 5 minutes around the corner from the stadium as well. So that makes sense as well. I believe in supporting your local team.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna put Southtown. You know, the nearest one would be Reading, I suppose. Reading is the nearest
Reading,
bigger team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's where Scotty's from.
What's the do you follow the football quite closely out in Australia, or is it more?
Not really. Nah. It's hard, it's time differences and stuff. You can watch it a little bit here and there. You know, I'll watch all the England games, obviously, but you know, all the big games on, but you know, just generally a bit of highlights here and there. Yeah,
because I was about to say, what time is it? It must be on early hours of the morning for you lot.
Yeah, silly times.
Yeah. That's like us with the UFC though. The UFC's on at like 3 a.m. for us, so it's just difficult to watch it live unless it's a really big fight. I won't stay up to watch it. I'll just wake up in the morning and just watch the replay then. What is the biggest sports out in Australia?
Biggest sports here would be, I suppose, AFL.
Yeah.
Australian Football's League. Australian Football. Yeah, I think that's what it stands for. Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Why is it so bad? Why is it so bad?
It's just a mess. Just like 100 guys running around a cricket pitch in little shorts. Like,
seems legit.
It just seems all over the place, mate. Yeah. I don't know. Cricket, I suppose.
I was about to say cricket's got to be a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised at how big it was. Like, and I think they're surprised. Australians are surprised at how little we give a fuck, or a lot of us give a fuck about cricket.
It's weird because it's known as one of the more popular sports in Britain, but I guess the following over time has just been diminishing. Yeah, over time.
It's always struck me as like more of a public school sort of sport in England, like in a sense, whereas in Australia it's the complete opposite. It's just an everyman sport, right? You know. So so that's probably that, and rugby. Rugby's pretty big. They love all sports, man. They love it. They love it. They're very, very competitive nation. You know, they really take their sport seriously.
Did you play any sports growing up or anything like that?
Yeah, played soccer. I can't believe I just called it soccer.
Oh, mate, I'm offended. I'm offended. I can understand.
Yeah, I played football for a long time. I played a little bit of rugby. Played tennis a lot. I was really good at tennis.
Okay.
Yeah. I was pretty good. I was county champion at tennis.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the flex. Grime MC and county champion.
Yeah, when I was 15.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about our track that we did together. Scabs. It's an interesting process when you have to work out everything over DMs and emails and sending things back and forth. It's something that if I ever come to Australia, I'd rather just work in studio with these artists.
Yeah. But it's not something I generally do.
Yeah, it's a weird process, but in a weird way, with that track, it's not what I wanted it to be, but I love the way it turned out because of us not being in the same room with each other, me, you, and Zephyr, and because we didn't share that same energy or anything, everyone ended up turning out with a different verse. It was all kind of three different styles in how the verses sound, but that's why I kind of liked it in the end, because it was just three totally different dynamics. And Grimes,
it was an interesting beat to spit on as well.
Yeah. Because it was, I think it was like 130 BPM, 125. It was just that little bit off of what a typical Grime BPM. So, all of our strong suits are Grime and typically 140. So, when we was all out of our traditional comfort zone, I felt like it just created this really, unique dynamic between the three, with all three verses sounding so separate, sounding so different, should I say.
No, I liked it, man. I like that tempo, man. I'm beginning to enjoy that tempo. It gives you a bit of space to fuck around, and you know what I mean.
You can get a lot more creative with it. I mean, one thing that I see is when you get grime artists, say, take a 95 BPM hip hop track or a boom bap beat, and you can hear them stringing out their words. They're sitting on their words for either too long or not long enough because they're used to spitting at grime at a faster tempo. Vice versa, you hear rap artists try to do grime and it just sounds a little bit off. I mean, do you ever feel that way? Have you ever done tracks at that slower tempo and BPM, and how comfortable do you feel?
Loads,
how comfortable do you feel?
I've released whole mixtapes, albums, like back in like I used to be in a crew called 9 High, and did predominantly slower stuff, I'm comfortable on anything. Like I've never said I'm a grime MC or a hip hop MC, really. I'm just any MC, and you should be comfortable on any tempo. Like if you should be able to spit on dancehall, anything. I'm just gotta put my phone on charge.
Go for it, man.
You should be able to spit on dancehall, anything.
Yeah. I feel like being versatile is a
otherwise
big
you're not
thing.
a proper MC, I don't think,
Yeah. I mean, I think whether you put out all of that content or not, I feel like it's a good thing to be versatile and to be able to spit on multiple different genres in multiple different styles, you know, and then being able to just translate them over. You know, I've taken grime lyrics and spit them on a garage beat. I've taken hip hop lyrics and spit them on a boom bap. Like, I think like it's a good skill to have, whether you put out much of that content or not. I feel like it's a good thing to at least practice.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think, you know, I've always tried to, you know, do different tempos and stuff. My fucking battery's about to fucking go.
It's about to go.
Yeah. All right. Before I go, before I charge, I'll just pass you over to someone.
Can you even see?
Oh, here he is! Like he was about the whole time.
The battery's about to die. What's good?
Man, like, what are you saying, bro? How are you?
Yeah, not bad, bro. Just got off the plane, kicking with Fraksha.
Yeah, touring. Wait, you just come off the tour with Hilltop Hoods, right?
Yeah, we just did tour with Hoods, finished it in Perth last week, and then fucking thought I had a break, and then got hit up for this Jamaica Spyro gig. So doing this one in Melbourne, and then fly over back to Perth Saturday morning to do the same gig in Perth. So yeah, busy.
Yeah, man, yeah, you're performing right now. Just dropped the EP as well. Congrats on that.
Yeah, bro. Thank you. It's doing numbers. All good.
Yeah, good, man.
But yeah, got a lot of new bangers as well. A lot of new shit that I'm gonna drop. Just wait for videos and time, man. Just timing.
You know what? Yeah, I was about to say. So, you go through that process of kind of making music, dropping something, and then just like to perform and just tour and do shows as much as possible.
With me, bro, I like take my time with everything. Like, I'll get the beats, and if it's a good beat, I won't stop writing. Sometimes I'll write tracks in like fucking months, man. Like Cream alone took me. Cream was like bars for the Triple J actually.
Okay.
And I made it into a drill tune, and then I got Carney to reproduce it, and then Skew sent me 3 beats that I didn't like, and then he made the Cream beat that it is now. So it was like 6 tunes before what it was.
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes a little bit of a process, but yeah, I normally, it seems to work that way. Like, I don't like purposely do it where I'm making music for a bit and then I'm performing. But yeah, it just seems to work that way. Hey, just fucking make tunes and then perform them for a bit and then make some more to get bored of them.
Yeah.
But on this whole tour, man, I stayed in the studio in Sydney for like 3 days and made some tunes. So got a lot of new stuff.
Yeah, man. You're on your work rate. I feel like whenever I look at your social media, you're always promoting a show or some sort that you're performing at.
Yeah.
Always, man.
That's it, bro. Levels to this shit.
Yeah, man.
I'm just trying to keep working, man. I like doing shows more than making music. Like Fraksha was saying before, like, you got to hold it down on set, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that shit since like 14, sneaking into gigs, supporting some older heads and that in Perth. So yeah. Now doing it on big stages. It's just, it's not even like, still hasn't like sunk in. At the moment, it's still like fucking like work almost. But yeah, the Apocalypse tour was mad.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah, I heard big things. I had some people sending me clips of you, man, performing live, and yeah, man, that looked to go off still.
Yeah, no, it was real good. It was real good. I like them small, intimate shows. They're the way to go.
I was about to say, yeah, I prefer kind of just being at shows. I prefer it when it is just like a couple hundred, as opposed. Don't get me wrong. There's positives, you know, to both sides.
Yeah, bro. It's I don't know, man. Like being on those stadium sets, like it's not. You can't really get intimate with the fans, and that's what I'm all about. Like I like jumping in the crowd and spinning a 16 in the crowd with them and getting everyone hyped up. But like, it's such a far gap, bro. You wouldn't even think about stage diving that shit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
It was good. Good like step up to what I normally do. So see where we go from here. It should be an interesting like year to come.
What was the difference between performing on those like stadium shows with Hoods and then, you know, obviously you're saying about the smaller crowds, more intimate, you can get more involved on a personal level, but what's the big difference on the big stages?
Like the stages, bro, like you're not fucking standing like doing this and then jumping to the other side and then spraying another 16. It's like you're running to the other side of the show. Yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked.
I'm sure that's a great experience though, man.
Yeah, real great experience. Real eye-opener to get the fuck back in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Get my license back next week.
Yeah, man, that's
What's
sick.
been good with you anyway? I seen that new tune you dropped. That was bad.
Yeah, man, thank you. Yeah, I've just dropped the album. Just trying to keep up with the whole YouTube side of things as well. Trying to do more than just reaction videos. Trying to do as much as possible, man. So,
that's the way, bro. Versatility is key.
That's it. So yeah, whether it's like the podcast, whether it's artist breakdowns or EP reviews or different things, trying to just do as much as possible right now. But keep that quality up. And you know what? I'm massively enjoying it right now because there's so much good music. There's so many different personalities.
Yeah, bro, content.
So it's so easy to do because I would be checking this shit out anyway. It's just I'm doing it in front of camera and then just saying my thoughts out loud. So for me, I enjoy doing it, and that's the main thing, man.
No, that's good. That's good, man.
It's good to see.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, the scene seems like it's in a real healthy place right now.
It's fucking, bro. I'll tell you something now, man. Like, I've been doing it for like 9 years, and in this past year, shit's fucking changed a lot. Like, a lot of people have changed, and the movement is just. There's a lot of eyes in Australia now, which fucking sucks. Like, but it doesn't in a way, because I feel like there should have been eyes in Australia a long time ago, because there's a lot of talent here.
Yep.
But yeah, it's better late than never, I guess. So see what happens.
Yeah. Well, for what it counts, I mean, the UK scene did the same, man. The UK scene was doing bits for so long, and it was doing many bits within the UK. And I still feel like, to a certain extent, the UK has such a buzz here, but in America. Not so much, but we've got to the point now where we've been ignored by America for so long. It's kind of like we don't even want you. Like, not that we don't or do, but we're so happy just doing our thing. And now, since that mindset has kind of branched out across majority of the scene, it just seems like everyone's just doing better when you're just focusing on us. So, I feel like the Oz scene's slowly getting there as well. I feel like you're starting to branch out, but I feel like it will get to the point where, you know what? Fuck what these other man want. Let's just do us, and then the right people will come to us in terms of collaborations and tours and.
That's it. Man. Now I need to make my way over there soon. Probably next year, early next year, I'll be over.
Do it, man. And if you do, hit me up 100%, man.
Just for radios, bro. I'm just there for radio sets.
Yeah, things like that. I mean, how did the track come about with you and Yizzy? You, Yizzy, and Nerve. Did he hit you up? Did you hit him up?
Bro, I actually hit up Yizzy for a beat. I didn't hit him up for a track or anything. I watched his clash with Mike, of course. Like,
yeah.
A while ago, that Street Fighter clash, and then I wondered what the Mundi pull-up rhythm was. And I asked him fucking for ages, man, and he didn't reply. And then I released Cream, and then he commented on Cream, so I hit him up again. And yeah, it just came through like that. And fucking, I think it was Logan Sama actually hooked that track up.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, because he's I think he signed Yizzy, or Yizzy's got a deal with him or something like that.
Yeah.
Hooked it up.
Okay.
He's a good dude, Logan.
Have you got any more UK shit coming, and any Oz to UK shit coming?
I don't know, because Yizzy just dropped that fucking that new tune, and he hit me up, and he said there was a remix with Jams that he wanted to do.
Yep.
Yeah, so but I haven't heard anything back from that. Any UK stuff? I got something with Audio Slugs and Screwfizzer.
Ooh, shit, yeah. Okay.
Who else? Fucking that Eyes and Z Dot's doing like an EP. We've got something.
Yeah, Fraksha just said that. Yeah, Fraksha just said that. Yeah.
So we got something on that. Fuck. No, not really. Bro,
so a couple things, but not heaps.
Bro, I've got a few tracks recorded, ready to go, but the artists have been lacking. Like Mischief, I don't know what happened in the last Lord of the Mics, but me and Mischief had a track that was supposed to be on the Lord of the Mics album.
Right.
But Mischief got spun real bad apparently, like to the point where no one fucks with him. So, and it sucks, man, because this is probably one of my favorite grime tunes I've ever done.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think that's good.
Does that happen often? Like you record a track, whether it's with another artist or yourself, and then it just never ends up being put out? Does that happen often, or are you kind of a person that likes to wait till the time's right and get it out no matter what?
Yeah, that's it. Like majority of the time, like the time's always right. Like I just release it. But yeah, there's heaps of shit that I've been sitting on. It's just doing my own thing at the moment. Like I had the EP drop and stuff, so I've just been focusing on that. And now that it's all finished, I'm still gonna do my own tour. Roll off from it with my own tour, and then after that, that's when I'll get stuck into all the features that I was working on. So I got something called Wax as well, actually, from NTP.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
shout
a
out Wax, man. He's dope.
Tune. Yeah, he's real dope. He's real dope. But yeah, no, nothing else from the UK, really,
Okay.
I don't think of.
So it's all grime shit as well, then? It's all grime?
Yeah, all hard grime. Like, all
because I said this on the Cream EP review. You were showing a bit of versatility in there.
Yeah, there was I tried to move away from keep the grime flow, keep the bars and stuff, but yeah, just change the beat. Just try new stuff, man.
That's man, push your boundaries as an artist, man. It will help you grow, you know, and it'll help you show something different, cater to slightly different audiences as well.
That's exactly right. I was just about to say that, cater to everyone.
Yeah, no, I hear that. That's what I did with my album. I just tried to make 12 different tracks, you know, and so I know there's very few people, to be fair, that I know that say the whole album's dope. Like when I say what's your favorite, they'll be like so and so tracks, and then you ask someone else and it's like 3 different ones or 4 different ones, and it caters to different people, and that's what I'm happy with. That's what I tried to achieve. I didn't try to make something where everything had to be a banger. It was just, you know what, we'll take your own little slice of it, whatever you want, kind of thing. This is your buffet, take what you want from it. Like, so yeah, that I agree.
That's how I like it. That's the way to do it. Just keep smashing those videos too. That's the way to do it, man. Just singles, videos, big videos.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, I feel like it's all well and good putting out albums and mixtapes and projects now, but really, if you're trying to grow, just putting out as many singles as possible, man, with the videos.
It sucks, bro. I'd love to do like a fucking 16 to 20 track mixtape thing, you know, but like people don't have the attention span these days. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, people don't seem to listen to albums and projects in one.
Tracks are getting stopped, bro. I've got a track. I've literally got a track that I recorded in Sydney.
Yeah.
That's 2 minutes.
Right.
2 minutes, but the beat changes completely after the first 16 in the cook. So it's like 2 different vibes.
Yeah.
That's probably the next one I'm gonna drop.
Okay.
That should be a banger. But yeah, now I feel like people's attention span is just fucking like flies.
Yeah, people don't seem to listen to, like me. I feel like I'm a little bit old school in regards of I like to listen to music in their projects. Like I have Spotify, but I don't really have playlists. I mainly just listen to albums in order that the tracks are put as well. That's how I like to listen to it. I don't often do playlists. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, just I don't like to do that. But plenty of people, it's just, can you make the so-and-so Spotify playlist to be in the mix?
I don't fuck with I don't play any playlist. I make my own playlist. On my Apple Music, and then just play my own, like not my own shit, but like music that I like.
And put it together.
But yeah, like you were saying, I'll normally, if I'm trying to find new music, I'll go get an album and then literally skip through every song start to finish. But you've got fucking 16 seconds to make me think it's good or not.
See, if I'm really trying to pay attention, I'll listen to the whole track. Even like there's certain tracks that you really don't like, but I do my best to try and hear it out to the end to see if I'll give it a chance. And more time you don't, but sometimes you wait to the end and you're like, all right, the first 30 seconds I weren't fucking with, but by 3.5, you know what? I can respect it a little more. Sometimes that does happen.
Yeah, Fraksha's just saying he gives it 4 seconds.
Before they've even spit the first bar, that's it. It's done.
That's it. The beat, bro. I judge a lot of things by the beat. Like, if the beat doesn't catch my ear, I don't feel like anyone can skip one if you can't catch it yourself.
Have you ever had that on a set where a DJ has dropped a beat that you just don't fuck with, and you feel like they've just fucked you over? Like, does that happen?
How's that question? Have I ever jumped on the set where a DJ has dropped a track that I don't fuck with, and I'm just thinking of the Triple J? There was one track old mate dropped that fucking was just whoa.
Word for you.
Yeah, but I still spat on it. I think it was actually fucking one of Nerve's rhythms.
Oh, what was it?
I had to write up a list of tunes not to play.
Not to play? Yeah, but like majority of the time, man, like a lot of DJs will get stuff that I've already known, so you can hear it coming, and then you jump on. I've got a lot of friends in Perth that get dub plates. Do you know what a dub plate is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a lot of my mates got dub plates, so then sometimes you're in a set and you think it's something, but it's a fucking remix or a dub plate from someone else.
The VIP versions and
That's it, man. One of those examples of fucking mysteries are pulses. There's like Pulse R, Pulse A, Pulse S.
Yeah, I know Pulse like X. Fucking, I know that one, but then
and
you hear
Pulse
remixes of that. Yeah.
That Pulse S is like a dan dan dan, bong 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 bong.
Yeah.
That's tough, tune. Real tough tune.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes it can also go off though. Like the best example I ever seen of it was Getz. He was doing a show for New Year's and he was doing his one take with Rude Kid, and he got the wheel up once, he got the wheel up twice, and then on the third time he went from the top. Then he dropped like the VIP remix version, and then he got the wheel up from the first bar again just because the beat. And so sometimes it's sick with moments like that. But I feel like you have to have a relationship with the DJ, man. The DJ to know.
Hey, Rude Kid, bro. Rude Kid is a don. Like Rude Kid is a fucking. And like, have you been watching Oblig shit lately? Oblig, you know that new DJ Oblig? DJ Oblig, he's done like all the modes, he's on the Rinse, he's like Rinse's new resident.
Okay.
Yeah, DJ Oblig, bro, check him out. So now he's mixing like real hard grime with drill beats, bro.
Oh shit.
So he had Tommy B?
Yeah,
Tommy B and Novelist.
Cold.
Tommy B and Novelist. Sorry, SBK and Novelist in the BBC. And Novelist was spitting on drill. Oh my god, bro. That shit is next level.
You know what? Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people doing drill right now, but I can't lie. Some grime flows on drill are cold. Vice versa as well. Some people do drill flows on grime, and that's sick as well. And so, yeah, I feel like one of the first people who notably did that for me, obviously there was people who did it elsewhere, but AJ Tracy started to do that from a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he even said that in a bar. He said it in like grime on a drill beat, drill on a grime beat. They'll come about pound bulldogs, man, get flattened. Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one. Bulldogs better get flattened.
Yeah. So there's artists that do that, where they do these grime flows on a drill beat, and I think it does sound cold to be fair.
It skips, man. It skips hard. Like Rops, bro. Rops has got like a sort of like a grimy flow. If you put Rops on a grime beat, he will sound the exact same because he skips on it. So it's real dope. I like that stuff for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, you see, Oz drill right now is the wave. It's the wave.
Yeah, bro.
It's what everyone's wanting to hop on.
With me, bro, like the Oz drill scene, like I've listened to UK drill for so long that this old Oz drill shit just sounds the same. You know what I mean? Like the first couple 1-4 tracks were dope because they were using the Eshe and putting their own little lingo in it. But like now it's just sounding like the same thing to me. And
so I kind of thought the opposite. I kind of thought their first track sounded too much like the UK, and I feel like now they're slowly pulling away. I thought the opposite.
That's interesting. Yeah, I see like Shanks and Shifts and The Message. I felt like were real of their own Aussie sort of drill. But yeah, HP boys, man, those are the ones.
Yeah,
those are the ones. That's that wavy shit, bro. I love that stuff. Yeah. And they got their own charisma. They carry their own, character. It's dope.
I see a couple comments. Someone was like, "Yeah, this is like tropical drill." Like these, and I say it like they're enjoying their shit.
Drill. Yeah,
tropical.
That's it, man. It's just wavy, bro. It's just wavy. Yeah.
So no, I mean, shout. There seems to be just more and more groups now just coming out, like, and I feel like there's positives and negatives to it. Okay.
That's it. There's a lot of bandwagon jumpers, but there are a lot of people that are now comfortable to jump on. I feel like it's also giving people thinking like, oh, hang on. People do like I'm gonna accept it, so let me do what I've been doing in my bedroom, but not releasing. You know what I mean? Because bro, I know a lot of. There's this new dude, Mena ACP. He just did the Instajams, bro. Like one of my favorite drill verses I've heard in Australia so far.
Okay.
But there are a lot of like who's another dude? Have you seen that Hooks one, dude?
Hooks, yeah. The Hooks just dropped a track.
Too smart.
You've named this is the perfect segue. So, a couple days ago, I dropped a reaction to the Hooks track, and I had bare audio issues. So for the first half, it was fine, and then I paused the video, and then my audio was fine, but the video audio wasn't working. So either way, I've said it in my reaction. I've said like, sorry, the audio's fucked. I'm gonna cut to the end where I start breaking it down. But in that second half is where I fucked with most of it. The first half I was a little bit like, second half I fucked with it, and I've cut that out. So either way, I've done my breakdown, and I've said this Oz drill shit is starting to become a bit generic right now. Now, I think I've come across in the wrong way because I got a bunch of man get on my back. What do you mean it's generic? Rare, fuck you. I still stand by what I said. Yeah, there's plenty of generic shit right now. There's also some man really doing their thing, and I like the Australian flavour that they're putting on it. Like HP boys.
Yeah, you can tell, you can separate it, you can tell for sure.
You can tell, but are there some people that are sounding way too much like the UK, and or let's just take grime just as a genre, separating, you know, not separating cultures and what countries you're from. There's just shit that just sounds the same.
What was that, the grime?
No, just when you put drill, like let's say there's not a difference between Australia and the UK. There's just shit that just sounds too generic. Like what you're saying, I've heard that bar from at least 5 different artists.
Yeah,
like, we know the slang that's involved. Like,
yeah,
man
exactly,
got dipped, right? Let's just use that as a phrase. I don't mind you using that, but how can you creatively attack
flip it
that?
Your own, exactly. That's why, like, it's so tempting to do a drill tune, bro. But it's like, you just get looked upon. Bro, I've fucking done some drill beats. I did that tune with Taunts. Mika produced that.
Yeah.
He's one of the hardest, He's one of the hardest drill producers. He produced Shut It Down as well, which is not even a drill track at all on the EP.
The one with Jose Halftime.
Jose, yeah, that's the one. Mika produced that as well. And then I got a lot of UK producers on that, actually. I got Shadow on the beat for Comfy. I got Gotti on him that made Man's Not Hot, or the Let's Lurk.
The 6-7 thing, and what Micah done.
He made the upbeat.
Okay.
And then I got Miko on Shut It Down. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Okay.
And Scarrow, man, the kids from Central Coast here, like 16, doing crazy good.
Doing bits, yeah.
Crazy good.
Yeah, what track did he produce? Because that's the one where I fucked with it heavy.
He produced League of My Own, the video, bro.
That's it. Yeah.
On YouTube, the video on YouTube, he produced that. He reproduced that because the producer fucked me over with the lacing.
Yeah, that's a whole big mess when you get into all the leasing and purchasing beats and
whole different. It's fucking stressful. Like for me, man, I just want to make music, bro.
That's it. You just want to catch a little vibe, spit a 16, and put out good music. And then when you get all of this copyright shit, it's like, I get why it's there, so people can't just rip people's tracks and make profit off of it. I understand, but it also fucks over so many people as well that are just trying to do their thing, and then their music gets put out. Man, it's just...
Yeah, exactly.
It does, it fucks it over. But yeah, going back to the drill thing. Going back to the drill thing real quick. Yes, there are plenty of people that are sounding generic. Same way in grime, same way in rap, there's plenty of generic shit there. There's generic shit in all genres.
That's the way, this is why I don't say anything, is because I feel like I did the exact same thing with, like, when I first had grime. If you know what I mean?
Every artist has sounded generic when they first started out. Why? Because they're influenced or inspired by the artists that they enjoy. So of course you're going to sound like those artists to start off with. Nobody picks up the mic for the first time or picks up a pen for the first time and creates something unique. It takes years to get to that point. And so when I'm saying people are sounding generic, yes, I'm saying that because there is a whole new wave of people that are listening to, whether it be UK drill, whether they're listening to 6-7 or Smoke Boys or Harlem Spartans, or whether it is Australia. They've heard 1-4 now. They're hearing HP Boys. They're hearing, you know, all of these people, and now they're trying to do their thing.
But like I understand before, like maybe drill is like the only thing some people have heard. You know what I mean? 1-4.
This is what Frax was saying. We're now in a generation where people are growing up only listening to grime. We're growing up where people are only listening to drill now. So that next generation that comes through, you know, they're influenced only by that. They don't have the rap influence or the hip hop elements, or, you know, when you grow up with the only influence being the music you make, it's gonna be very much like that. But then it also then grows as a sound. The sound will grow over time, you know. When you had the first generation of grime MCs come through, that was inspired from garage, so it had that garage flavor. Then that next generation that come through that only listen to that kind of grime, you know, so you get how the sound progresses like that.
Exactly. So it's just progress, man. That's it. So that's why I'm saying I'm keen to see in the next 2 years what happens. Who's going to be here for longevity and who's just here to spark once and then bounce.
That's it. And don't get me wrong, if you want to do your thing, grab the bag, catch a little popularity for a year, you know what, so be it. Big man, you do you. but if you're really in it because you love this shit and you're really in it for longevity, it will show.
I'd take the different route of drill. I wouldn't be talking about dipping cunts. I'd be talking about trapping more.
There you go. And so, yeah, man. I mean, look, to the generic shit, like, it's generic to talk about how you're the best in the scene. Everyone's done that. That's part of rap. That's just rap culture. Proving that you're the best in the room, proving you're the best in a scene, country, whatever it is. But, you know, so when I say, yeah, people are sounding generic for using generic phrases in music, yeah, that shit's been going on for years. I'm just saying it specifically to drill. So that's just to defend myself for a moment because, yeah, people seem like I was hating on the drill wave like all of a sudden. No, I'm not hating on it. Big man, you do you. Hopefully you find your sound. Hopefully, you know, you become successful in your own way. I hope that you do your thing.
No, that wave is crazy, man, to see the views and everything. It's fucking...
Oh, it is. It's bad. Like, even from my perspective as a reactor, my most popular videos now are the ones reacting to drill. I don't even listen to that. I listen to a little bit in my own time. I'll be real. But I mainly listen to grime and rap. And so, you know, there's no denying that it's benefiting me. If you're talking from a numbers perspective, yeah, it benefits me. Like, you know, I can't hate on it, you know, but at the end of the day, like,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, I feel that's what I was about to say. I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like as long as people are doing it for the right reasons, it's only a positive thing. It helps people check out 1-4 and then that branch. Oh wait, people are doing music in Australia. Oh shit, who's Nerve?
Yeah,
who's Wombat? Who's Cursor? You know, and you start branching out to different people, so it benefits people. Open Same way when grime pops, it's gonna benefit other people that have been doing it. You know, it benefits everyone as a scene. Like, I don't.
And it links up as well. It links up. Like, look, man, like the Burner M24 Sticks collab with
Maddest of the Maddest. Yeah.
That is a crazy, like, fucking link up, bro. That is nuts. Like, nuts. M24 hands down at the moment is probably my favorite drill artist. Like, that dude is fucking crazy.
Doing his thing.
Burner is probably the hardest, like, drill artist in general.
Burner's cold. Yeah.
That Madder Than Mad fucking video, man, is crazy.
Yeah, that video was mad. They shut down West End. They shut that, and for anyone who don't know, that's just like
the main
one of the biggest shopping. Yeah, it's one of the biggest shopping areas. One of the biggest tourist attractions in London is just the West End. It's like right around the corner from the London Eye. It's like not far from like all of the main attractions. They shut down the biggest corner of shopping just so they could do a video. Cold. I don't care what you say, cold.
And no one's going to say anything about that either.
Who's shutting that? The same as when 1-4 do videos, or like 21 District or HP Boys. When these men are doing their videos and I'm seeing a bag of man.
HP Boys videos are nuts, bro. There's a lot of people in them. There's the boys in that for sure.
For yeah, man. It's crazy to see. And so, yeah, man. Just getting people inspired, getting people to do their thing. And
it's good to also see that with you, like, you've got a lot more, like, since the start, like in a year or half a year, you've got a lot more content to post about. Like, there's a lot more new rappers that are starting out and you posting about, I see. And I've discovered some dudes from Australia that I've never known about.
Oh, thank you. So people hit me up and they say that they're like, you know what, the scene's growing, it's hard to keep up with everything. I just watch your videos to keep up with new artists, or, you know, I just watch your thing to know when the big artists drop their shit. So, and it's just like, all right, if this is the hub for one of the hubs for Australian content, so be it, man. That's a good thing. I think anyone who does follow that, man.
We don't have many at all. You know, the ones that we do have slack. So yeah. Slack real hard.
You know what? I've said this as well. I want there to be more outlets for Australian content. Like, you get the Instagram pages and whatnot, but like, I want to see more,
Instagram pages. Yeah, no, there's no videos. Like, I've always said it, man. Body Bags like had the scene of his fucking by his hands. He could have done magic with that. But yeah, just personal problems do get the best of us. So can't really hate on anything. Yeah. And he looks like there's a lot more bigger names dealing with Body Bag now, so it's good. Like bigger rap names like Rates is.
Yeah, I think he just dropped something today or yesterday.
Some clip, yeah, man. So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah. I can't lie, the arsehole within me wants to ask you mad controversial questions right now, and then part of me is just like, you know what? Big man, life's good. We're just catching a little vibe. Is that shit you want to speak on, or is that shit you're just going to leave for personal business?
Bro, I spoke on it fucking in my live stream, but yeah, it's just in the past. Like,
just is what is you're doing your thing now.
That's it. Like, you can see there's 2 separate lanes. The ones know what's up. He knows what's up.
yeah. I mean, see, from my perspective, I hear different stories, and so I always take them with a pinch of salt, because there's people that support you, there's people that support other sides, you know. And from me, I enjoy music and content from all different parties. So I am going to have splinters up my arse, and I'm going to sit on the fence with it all, because I don't know what's true and what's not. I can only take what people say, and 95% of that I'm sure isn't true. So
I'll put it this way, bro. It's like gotten beyond the rap.
It's bigger than music.
Yeah, it's way past the rap, but I love to clash.
From a sporting perspective, I want to see that shit. I'd love to see that shit.
Everyone does.
You know what? I might start stirring this shit now, just so we can get a clash going or something. Frax, set up a venue. Like, yeah, man.
You reckon Frax set up the clash?
Set up your own Lord of the Mics. That's it.
Set up the Lord of the Mics.
So I want you to set up your own Lord of the Mics now. I want to see some clashes for sporting purposes only.
I said to him earlier when I picked him up at the airport, I said, you two have been going back and forward a little bit here and there. It's time to actually clash. I said, I'll set it up like fucking, you know, Lord of the Mic style. I'm sure there'll be other people who'd want to clash as well. It'd be a pretty cool event. Yeah, man. You know, like, I think it'd be pretty cool for the scene.
If that ever happens, I will fly over to Australia myself to be there at that event. I don't care what money I have to borrow. I will be there for that event.
But it's, you know, I think, would it be better to do it as a live event or like Lord of the Mics, just 2 people, you know, in a corridor? You know what I mean? Like I've battled with the idea which would be the better type of event. You know what I mean?
Not a lot of people. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, they both have their advantages and disadvantages, and they both suit certain people different ways. You know, so. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see.
That's mad. That's got my brain racking now. Like, oh shit. How's that one? Yeah, no. But how is there really a clashing scene in Australia?
No, not really. Like, we had a couple clashes back in the day. Like, we had like a Melbourne versus Sydney event. Right. Like, we had 2 of those. So it was like Smash Brothers and Alex Jones versus That's Them.
Fuck, how was
a couple others, Swami G. Yeah, that was sick, man. It was.
But that was never like a personal thing. That was just sporting of who's the best, like, MC kind of thing.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, you know, we went up against each other, you know, back to back, you know what I mean. We had bars for each other and stuff. Yeah. No, like, there's not really been. There's no, like, I've tried to G up like a Lord of the Mic style event before, but couldn't really get enough interest from people. You know what I mean? So some people were into it. There's some people who are on it. As soon as I say, they'll be keen to do it. But, you know, you need some interesting matchups, you know. And for a long time, it's been, the scene is so small that, you know, it'd be like me clashing Scotty, or you know what I mean, you know, which isn't going to happen. So, you know what I mean. So now the scene's getting bigger. I think there's opportunities for it to happen, but it's whether people want to do it, you know. You know, we'll see.
You know, that's something that I've missed, really. Like, it's something that I haven't really properly done. I've clashed like mates and things like that, but I've never had, with no disrespect to anyone who I've ever done it like pissing about, basically. I've never had proper competition at a proper setup event or anything. That's one thing that I do want to tick off of my list at some point. Even if it isn't like proper beef, you know, just being able to say, yeah, I'm a better MC than you, though. That's something that I'm always
it kind
down
of naturally
to do.
happens. It kind of naturally happens at, you know, the parties anyway, you know, because you know, if you got like 10 MCs on stage, each one is trying to get, you know, that reaction as soon as they go.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and if you know, and it can get that kind of clashing kind of vibe, you know.
And I feel like it's healthy as long as you can separate, you know, that music beef to that real life shit. I feel like it's a benefit, you know. If you're hungry to be the best, it brings the best out of all MCs, and then that creates a better vibe for the crowd. You create more moments that way. So I feel like it's a healthy thing to have competition.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's definitely a big thing.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting matchups that could possibly have. You know, I'd like to see.
There's some that I'd like to see. Cough, Shadow.
Hazard's keen to clash. He's always been raring to go, man, from the outset. Man. Yeah.
So no, if any events ever set up like that, like whenever I do, I'm trying to come over to Australia next year at some point. I am. It's just money. It's literally money. If it was for free, big man, I would have been over by now. But yeah, when I do come over, I definitely want to be at some shows and events. So yeah. Yeah,
I'm sure you'll find a few ciphers to keep on, mate.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, this battery managed to hold up a bit longer than I thought. Don't I?
It's holding together. It's
last 10%. It's last 10%.
It's holding in strong.
I know. I was waiting for it to cop out.
Strong. But we are gonna finish up in a moment anyway. So is there anything that you want to plug? Anything that either of you want to plug coming up or?
I think Scotty's got a new EP coming up very soon. Just got some killer tracks on it, man. He's been smashing it out recently.
Yeah.
I've got a big tune coming with Smash Brothers LGs, and another special guest, which I'll hold off from saying until it's 100%.
Yeah.
And what you got coming?
Oh yeah, got My City remix coming next month.
Oh shit! Is that all Perth MCs then, or is that a mix?
Nah, so I've got myself from Perth. I got a new verse. Complete from Perth. Fraksha. Sesta from the Funkors. Old School G. Manazil. And hopefully Scrub once he finishes.
Alright, that's dope. That's dope. I can't lie. I like that one still.
So gonna get like a real versatile. Everyone to rep their city.
Yeah, man, that's sick. No, I look forward to that now. That's
yeah, man. Well, that's proper next month, so that's the one.
Okay. We'll just wait till that one comes out. All right, sick, man. Sick.
Well, that's it, G.
Appreciate you both coming by and doing the podcast. I know yours was a surprise guest, but yeah, appreciate it.
Surprise guest.
Out of nowhere.
Sharing a set of headphones.
Oh, there we go. So, I appreciate you both doing that. Appreciate Frax for joining the podcast.
Oh yeah, no, thanks for having us through, mate.